Hello and welcome everyone. I'm Amethyst Dream Witch and I wanted to start a new series that's going to be all about the new moons and the full moons and just the general energies that are going to be around at those times. So I'll try and post these ahead of the actual moon, the lunar events. And I'll go through the kind of energies. I'll be using two different decks to do this. The first is Moonology by Yasmin Boland, and she also has a second Moonology deck. I say second because there is actually a third that's coming out, that's being released, I think September of this year. But so I'll be using this deck, and there's a Moonology manifestation deck as well. So this is what I'm using. I love these cards for this reason, because they give a key phrase for the energy and then you can work from that. So that's just a little bit about how I'm going to be doing these. So let's get into this new moon in Gemini, because we are in the Gemini season. So every new moon that occurs within the zodiac season will always be in that sign. Sometimes we have two new moons in a sign. We had that in Aries season. We had one at the beginning and one at the very end. It just all depends on when they occur. At the same time, when it comes to the full moons, they are 6 months, they're the opposite sign to the season that we're in. So we're in Gemini season currently. So the full moon was in Sagittarius. Sagittarius. Sorry, I've got a moon calendar on the wall that has the wheel of all the signs. So Gemini season, the opposite is Sagittarius. Leo is opposite Aquarius. So in Sagittarius season, the full moon will be in Gemini. So I like that it's not that there's just the 4-week lunar cycle at work, but there's a year-long cycle with each sign and the moon. Because, for example, this weekend we've got the new moon in Gemini. 6 months' time we'll have the full moon in Gemini. This time next year we'll have the new moon in Gemini again. So it's a year-long thing. So if you want to do any long-term work, perfect. Do it on a new moon. Check back at the time of the full moon in that sign, and then revisit at the a year later at the new moon and see where you're at. If you need to start again, you can start again. If you've done what you needed to do, great. Pick a new project to work on. It's completely up to you. So that's how I like these. But so I'm going to be using the two decks. I'll go through the new moon, the energies, because the new moon peaks. For most of the world, it's Sunday, but I think in at least one time, in one part of the world, it will peak on Saturday. So depending on where you are in the world, you'll either get it Saturday night or sometime on Sunday. For me, it's early hours of Sunday morning. So there is that I am working with. But the moon actually transitions from Gemini into Cancer, to the sign of Cancer. I'll go through that a little bit more. But obviously it's a new moon, so it's a whole new start. whole new start. It's a new beginning. It's the restart of the lunar cycle. This is where it all starts. New starts aren't just for, you know, the start of every calendar year. There's also, you know, every month. We've got every new moon. We've also got the astrological year, which doesn't start until March with Aries season. So Aries is the start of the astrological year. It goes that way. So if you want to start something new, pick a new moon, pick the beginning of a month, the start of a particular sign that corresponds with what you're wanting to do. There's so much that you can do, but it's a whole new start. Now, when it comes to the energies, there's 3 cards for this. So obviously it starts in Gemini. Gemini, being an air sign, it's all about communication. But when I say it's about communication, it's not just about, you know, being the one who is talking, being the one who is communicating. It's also holding space for whoever you are communicating with, to respond to you. You know, communication is like a relationship. There's got to be give and take. There has to be room and space for everyone involved to listen, but also communicate themselves. So, and I love that there's the Gemini symbol is typically a 2, you know, the heads of two women, usually depicted as twins. One is listening, the other is in the middle of doing a talk. They have different roles. It's how it is. So communication, but communication is not just about doing the talking, it's about listening as well. So that's that one. Now, I said the moon actually transitions from Gemini into the sign of Cancer, and because at the time of transitioning, at the end of being in the sign of Gemini and moving into the sign of Cancer, the moon doesn't have any aspects. It's not it's not being it's not got anything going on with any other planets or asteroids or anything. It's literally just the moon doing the moon's thing. There is nothing else going on. And when that happens, the moon is said to be void of course. So it has no direction. And when something has no direction, nothing will come of the situation. So there's nothing going on. So I've read that at the time of when a new moon occurs and this happens, that if you want to set intentions, don't do it at the time the moon peaks for you. Either do it before or wait 11 hours after the moon has peaked and do it then. So if I wanted to set my intentions on Sunday, I would need to do it Sunday evening. That would be the best time for me to do it. So, if you try and set intentions, they're not going to have the same lunar power behind them. So that's where that comes in. But in comes the energy of Cancer, the new moon in Cancer. And it's you and your loved ones are safe. You've done the crab thing. You've been that defensive. You've been in the defensive position for so long, but now you can set that part of you aside and step into a different role. You know, at this point in time, there is no threat to you, your family, your situation. And because of that, you don't need to do anything. Because if you see crabs in the wild, they don't come and attack. They happily go about their thing, but it's only when they get attacked that they then, they respond. So you don't need to be defensive. You don't need to be doing anything. Just enjoy your time. Just be. Now, moving on from this, the next two cards are from the Moonology Manifestation deck. And I love these because they talk about how you can use the energies to manifest your desires. So with the energy of Gemini, let's think it through. So there's a mountain range. Do you really want to go climbing up and down that mountain range? But at the same time, if we look at the energy of Gemini in this instance, just the energy, which is communication is key, let's think it through. Think through what you're going to say. Think through how you're going to respond. And then you can move forward. You know, it doesn't always have to be an uphill battle like, climbing a mountain. It doesn't have to be like that. You can, go around the mountain to get to where you want. It might take a little bit longer. It might not. It all depends on whether you think things through. To bring in the Cancer energy, the energy of the sign of Cancer, it's just wanting you to relax. There's no threat to you, to refer back to this card. The waters are still, so you can just relax. And I love that this is there. So that's the energy and how you can use this energy to manifest. So you don't need to be doing anything. You can just relax, just be. You don't need to be doing anything. You don't need to be, I love this this idea of we're not meant to be doing things all the time. We're not meant to go from one task to the next, to the next, to the next, with no breaks in between. Because we're not human doings. We're human beings. We're meant to just be, and sometimes by just being, you get to relax. So it's finding that stillness within, that peace, that inner feeling that allows you to relax. So I hope this is helpful. I hope this will be a useful series for you all, and I will see you in a couple of weeks at the next at the full moon, which will be in Cancer season, so it'll be the full moon in Capricorn. So I'll see you all soon. Stay safe, everyone, and blessed be.